10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Chapter systems are offline.
Welcome to the Banter Club. Join myself, Mark, along with TY, Jackie, and Mahal as we talk all things sport. We will definitely trash your team, and if you don't like it, we'll definitely tell you your favorite footballer is a tax evader. Join us every week on the Banter Club.
Are we really doing this?
Of course, we are, definitely.
Welcome to it. It is TY here with the Broadway hosting the Banter Club SA once again. It is episode number 6 of the Banter Club. If you've been a loyal listener, thank you very much. If you're not, just go click on subscribe, follow. Doesn't matter where you're following us, just hit follow. If you're on the YouTube channel, click subscribe, click notification so we can show you more love. But today we are joined by a special guest by the name of Dineo Modise. I hope there's no relation to Dineo Modise or Portia Modise because those are my two favorite footballers. Dineo, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm amazing, Dineo. For those who don't know who you are, what you do, please just introduce yourself. Give us a little bit on your sports background. Let us know where you've played sports, who you've played sports with, where you've been injured, etc., and what you're doing now. Please just give us a quick roundup, real quick.
Okay, my name's Dineo Modise. I am actually a laboratory technician intern and a part-time sports journalist. My love and passion for sports has been with me for as long as I believe I've been able to run. I've played various sports from tennis, netball, football. I've tried cricket out, but I think the time that we had cricket in high school, it wasn't really working out. But I've always just been so enthusiastic about trying out new sports. Mm-hmm. And from primary to high school, up until varsity, I've just really always had a connection with sports. And I think I got to expand all of that more in varsity when I started getting into sports leadership roles. And I think that's when I started realizing that I really actually am extremely passionate about it. And like in most senses, people just like sports because they get to participate and just, I don't know if I should how to explain it, but just being a participant in sports. And for some of us, being a participant and a spectator and being behind the scenes, getting to do what you guys are doing now, sit down and talk about sports, that means so much more to me than actually just getting to play. So yes, sports has been, I would say, an amazing part of my life. I've gotten to work with varsity football when I was in varsity as a script reader, and Northwest University, of course, became champions for the first time at the time that I was working there. So it was something really amazing to be a part of, getting to see the journey that this team took to winning their first varsity football championship title. It was something that I will cherish for life. And I also got the opportunity to work as a sports presenter for Northwest University FM. Another opportunity that has given me a platform to voice out and to communicate and to share and to engage with other sports enthusiasts.
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. You say you went to NWU. Now, the thing about Northwest University, what matters the most is which campus did you go to?
The Mafike campus.
Obvious.
But you know who the champions are. The varsity football champions, they are not from Port, they're not from Val, they are from Mafike.
From Mafike, yes.
When I went to Val, I played for the team that actually did the things, The Mafike campus was still taking, but as Kolapo,
oh my
about
goodness,
10, 11 years ago.
It's good to know that there has been progress and growth.
Oh my word!
I hope so. But yeah, this is the Banter Club. We don't talk about sports, we banter about sports. Now, you're going to give us the sports wrap at the end of the show, but for now, we're kickstarting it off with MotoGP and Formula One. I think I'm going to hand off to Mohau. He's the most knowledgeable when it comes to MotoGP and Formula One. Let's start off with Formula One. Red Bull had pole position, but for some reason, Lewis Hamilton proved once again why Formula One is turning into a farmer's league. Mohau, you have the floor.
Well, good evening to you too, TY. Since Dineo is in now, you don't greet us anymore. You're greeting Dineo.
Hey, Muna.
Good banana, guys.
I mean, we're waiting for our greetings.
Hey,
But nonetheless, I mean, we had our very first Grand Prix looking at the Formula One. It kickstarted last week, Sunday, the past Sunday, which was the 28th of March 2019, where apparently to a lot of people, they said it was an obvious one where Lewis Hamilton was going to win. But guys, I kid you not, Lewis Hamilton has never won his first race when it comes to year in, year out Grand Prix. The last time that he won was in 2015. Every time when the Grand Prix starts, he loses the first race. So this one was the first one since 2015. And it was an advantage to Max Verstappen. So a lot of people believed that Max Verstappen was going to win this one, but unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton, or rather, fortunately, he managed to win this one, which is leading the drivers' pack now with Team Mercedes as well, where he came out number 1. Number 2 was Max Verstappen. Number 3, Valtteri Bottas with Team Mercedes. So we could see that Team Mercedes are already on the leading run. So, but right now, as we speak, of course, there's a Grand Prix that's coming through again next week, Sunday, which is the 18th of April, where we'll be in Italy, where we'll receive the LML Grand Prix, which will take place at 3 p.m., rather at 3 p.m. So on MotoGP, they had a Grand Prix on the 28th of March 2021, where it was the first Grand Prix of this season, 2021, where Maverick Vanels won the Grand Prix. And then second place, it was John Zarek. And then we had Francisco, who came out position number 3 with team Ducati team rather. So this was the wrap up when looking at the Formula One and the MotoGP. But the MotoGP Grand Prix will take place this Sunday again, the second Grand Prix, which it will be the Qatar Grand Prix, where it will take place on the 4th of April 2021 at 7 p.m., where we will be receiving the Doha Grand Prix.
All right. Okay, let me just greet everybody quickly before I get shouted at once again. Una, how you doing?
I'm just wondering, is Lewis Hamilton driving against pastry chefs? Because I mean, bad driver, but wow, like.
Aba drive Joe. When I
Nah, what's up, people? What's up? It's great to be back here. It's great to join the Banter Club again. And thank you, TY.
It's an absolute pleasure. Jackie, how you doing?
I'm good, and you guys, man?
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You ready for today?
I'm more than ready. I've been waiting for this day. I've got a lot to say about what happened during the week. I've got a lot to say.
And we've obviously got the Mark. Mark, how you doing?
Hola. No, I'm good. It's good to be back. Yeah, man. I've got one word 2 times, Bafana, but we'll talk about that.
Just a quick question to you, Mark. Was your beer officially delivered by that brand we're not going to mention?
No. I've decided, you know what? Let me pledge my loyalty to the dark ones. Obviously, you can't mention names, but you know the dark ones. Yeah. So I'll pledge my allegiance to that.
We got you. We definitely got you. All right. Moving on from Formula One, let's hop straight into SA Rugby. And we need to talk about the provincial versus the franchise structures in SA Rugby. I don't know, Mark, you want to kickstart this one off as to what the difference is between provincial and franchise structures?
I don't want to lie. I haven't really actually gone through the differences because my understanding is that
they're trying to basically just ensure that guys actually get a chance to actually play for their province, and it's not a money game and more of a sport game. But I haven't really gone through what the differences are. But yeah, so it's I'm still very iffy about it.
Okay, Jackie.
Oh, but I do know.
Yeah.
I do know that there's a concern when it comes to the Sharks, when who's this? Lucanio and Siya Kolisi, because Siya Kolisi just moved to the Sharks, and Siya Kolisi is the national team captain. Lucanio is the Sharks captain. Lucanio is his vice captain at the national team, and that's going to be very interesting how that plays out at the Sharks.
Very, very interesting. And the fact that Rock Nation is the one that's dealing with the Sharks right now, the Sharks is marketing globally, and Siya Kolisi signed to Rock Nation Sports. So, hey, yes. A bit of conflict of interest there. I think he signed there because, his management is the one dealing with the marketing for the Sharks.
Yes, and he's a better... Yeah.
He's a better...
No, I was just saying he's a better commercial player, because now... he's the guy who won the World Cup. Yes. Commercially, he's much more viable than Lucanio. Lucanio is a leader in his own right, but Lucanio is not the most commercially viable person. So it's going to be interesting, because I think the Sharks want to make money, and the deal with this company that's related to Rock Nation is obviously there to ensure that they make a profit. So it's going to be very interesting how that plays out. Also, if they do change to that, then it's going to be quite interesting how that works out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when it comes to Rock Nation, it's all about money. Hey, Rock Nation Sports.
You know what's interesting? It's interesting that when Rock Nation came to SA, when they wanted to invest this side, they went to Stormers first and through Sia while he was still that side. And somehow they were not open to that. They wanted to keep to the provincial status, because now with the new deal that the Sharks have, they automatically become a franchise rather than a provincial team.
Yes.
Because now it's a capital thing. It's not more than like a structure.
Okay, cool. I absolutely agree with you there. I agree with you there 110%. Let me move through to our guest, Dineo. Your thoughts on this before I move through to Jackie?
Sorry guys, I don't know if you saw my first text. I couldn't hear you guys, and I just got back in just as you guys were addressing Rock Nation. So I'm not really sure how much of your conversation that I missed.
Yeah, we're just talking about how Rock Nation Sports tried to go to the Stormers first through Siya Kolisi, because they managed Siya Kolisi, and then they moved to the Sharks, and the Sharks agreed. But now the Sharks, Siya Kolisi obviously moved to the Sharks, and the Sharks seem to be more profitable, or rather more marketable now. So just your thoughts on franchise versus provincial rugby.
Okay. With regards to that, I think it was a good move by Rock Nation to, of course, make a decision or to go about a decision like that. Because as you said, it is about making money. So of course they're gonna get a player that attracts the most attention in the country towards their side. So it's definitely understandable why things like that do happen. But then now, looking at provincial rugby, it would have been nice to see the very same efforts being placed or being put into provincial rugby development, etc.
Yeah, definitely. Jackie, your thoughts on this one? Provincial versus franchise rugby? Jackie, you there? Okay, Jackie's not replying. Okay, cool. Just got a text saying a franchise has been scrapped from cricket and not rugby. So now let's talk about just the structures of Cricket SA versus the provincial structures of cricket versus rugby. Now, Rugby South Africa has a different way of structuring things versus Cricket South Africa versus SAFA. I think I'm going to start with Mark on this one. What are your thoughts on Rugby SA, CSA, and SAFA? The structures, how do they differ? What are your thoughts on these?
I think it's been a very obvious thing. I think when I played high school sport, look, when it comes to football is not available in the former Model C schools, and that poses a great risk in terms of getting in, or basically having a look at all the talent that's available. Whereby, what's up, Jackie?
Okay, Jackie, we're gonna bring you in a second. Continue there now.
All right. Anywho, so obviously with cricket and rugby, they get almost all the players that have actually played for the national team, played schoolboy rugby, they've played schoolboy cricket, and I mean that's a great breeding ground for these guys. Whereby obviously rugby within the townships, cricket within the townships is lacking because there's not enough infrastructure, there's not enough of the guys. They don't have the equipment to play. So there's a real concern within the grassroots of cricket and rugby, but otherwise the schooling system is working for them. Whereas in football, it's the opposite, whereby the grassroots works for football, but the school system is not working for football. So it's a bit crazy. I think if all three the sporting codes can find a way to actually merge the schools and the grassroots together, I think then we can actually probably find the best talent in this country. Because I really believe that, because I've played with some amazing talents when I was growing up. And I feel like they haven't fulfilled their potential. I was not the talented one. I was just there because of the name. But anyway, yeah. So I think it would be very interesting to I think they should find a way, especially for football, to actually go out into the schools your former Model C schools or the schools in town, to actually try and find talent from there. Because I think, yes, I mean you can find talent, Kokasi, but you also not giving the guys in town a chance. And I think it's up to SAFA to ensure that they go to the schools with resources and actually try and get them to actually get football as a mainstay in their schools, because they're not there in town. You only find football Kokasi most of the time, and that's a big problem.
It's actually the craziest thing, because I went to a former Model C school and I had to go play all the way I was in the Val, in Three Rivers, but I had to go play all the way in Mayfair for Orlando Pirates just to get the closest proper football team. And I was in Drira. I was at Riverside High, but I was in Drira. I was in Drira. If you get what I'm saying. Now, Una, in terms of, let me ask this question to Una. In terms of now the grassroots level, in terms of CSA and Rugby SA, I don't know if it's just me, or is there a majority of Xhosa people in these areas? Would you say yes? Would you say no? Would you agree? Would you disagree? And what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I will agree, because if you look at the top Black African rugby players, they're all from the Eastern Cape. I think,
yes,
like what Mark was saying, with the structures, yes, most of these guys play for, what you call this school, famous school in Eastern Cape?
There's a lot. There's Dale College, there's Grey, there's Queens, there's a lot.
So if you have a large concentration of these Model C schools in the Eastern Cape that Rugby SA and the provinces structures are focusing to, obviously there will be more Xhosa guys in the sort of the way I pronounce it. There will be more of the guys on the national team level. And
yes,
if you look in Limpopo, on the other hand, I think Blue Bulls is in charge of that region, but their concentration is more in the towns, more in Pretoria, where they focus on the AFIs and all those other schools. Now, when you come to SAFA, remember back in the day there was the Transnet School of Excellences.
Yes,
those schools were actually a very good start point. If they had built on that and actually spread those schools across the country, I think it was going to help us a big mile, because you have your people like Stephen Pienaar. They came from your School of Excellences. So if they had built from that and continued with it, I think today we wouldn't be talking about being beaten by Sudan. Sudan of all teams. And also with schools football, back in the day, while I was still in high school, I remember playing against Clapham. While Pesita was also still there. We beat them 2-1. And the next game we played against School of Excellence, I think we lost like 24-1. Let's get here, 24-1.
Wait, 24.
Our Life FC.
Wow.
but anyways, it was actually a very good platform because most of the guys that we played with went on to go play for Arcadia Shepherd. They moved from Arcadia Shepherd, they moved into the other teams in the SAB League. Some of the players that we played with in high school are now playing in the PSL and the FNFT. But lately, that runway from schools football to the PSL is being neglected. There's a structure that for schools football. There's a structure, but somehow it's not linked to SAFA. Last I've heard, they are in negotiation to relink. So if they can find each other and work together, I think it can help Bafana and other national teams go a long way.
Okay, Una, you just said something very key to me personally. You said that some of the players you used to play with are in the NFD and the PSL. Please name drop a few.
No, I won't.
This guy.
Just say Lennox Bakela.
Yeah.
I'm not that old. And I cannot be associated with people who miss open nets.
This guy.
I cannot be associated with such people.
You are not serious. Jackie Mohau, I don't know who wants to weigh in on this one first.
I think, yeah.
Okay, Mohau. Yeah.
Looking at the South African rugby and then cricket South African SAFA, by just looking at those three, I mean, I would give you an example of one would be the cricket South Africa. Just look at the pattern that cricket South Africa has, and as much as the Proteas are not performing that well, as much as we need them to perform, but there's a pattern that they have when it comes to developing. I mean, a lot of players who are within the Proteas team have or might have played the mini cricket, KFC mini cricket tournaments. So you could see, the development has started a long time ago. I mean, the KFC mini cricket, they go all around the country, be it in the cities or the villages. They'll want kids to participate, and they'll want teachers as well to get to participate and teach those kids how to bowl, how to bat. And as much as some of the kids they're not really interested in cricket, but you'll find one or two or three players who will like, okay, I think I would want to continue with this thing named cricket. And you could tell from grade 3, if you have that interest of loving cricket and playing cricket from grade 3, imagine what will happen when you reach high school. And talking about the pattern, just look at what's happening when it comes to the domestic leagues in South Africa. They don't have much, but they do tend to participate a lot. You have the cricket CSA T20, you have the MODC, you have also the CSA 4-day tournament. So you could tell, these tournaments are the ones that, help and shape those players when it comes to the interest of them moving from their domestic teams to the national team. And of course, talking about the national team, I mean, you have right now as you speak, the Proteas are visiting is it Pakistan? They're visiting Pakistan, and you could tell throughout the year they have the schedule to say that, okay, after Pakistan we'll be playing this country, after this country we'll be playing this country. But look at the pattern that they have, and just look at what SAFA has, you could tell there's a huge difference. And I think that's why we see our national team when it comes to football, that seems not to perform that well because of it has been broken since development, since from the ground. Yeah, so you cannot fix it with Bafana when you have messed it up when it comes to the development, when it comes to the ground. So I think that's the pattern these structures has the Cricket South Africa, SA Rugby as well. You could tell there are so many tournaments that the Springboks participate before they could go for the World Cup. So you could tell or no, by the time they go to the World Cup, they're already satisfied with playing other countries, and they know these countries, or rather this country will tackle them this way, this country will face them this way, this country will face them this way. But come to Bafana Bafana, all we wait for is AFCON or FIFA World Cup qualifier. Other than that, we'll be just playing our normal domestic leagues.
Now, am I correct to say that there's a SA Rugby schools team?
Yeah, there is.
There is.
Correct.
How about SAFA also look into that? Because now, if you have that, and I'm sure the SA Rugby schools teams tours around the world, so if, like Mohau is saying, if they touring around the world and playing all these different teams in different conditions and different nationalities, if you have our team also in football doing that, I think that also can help.
You know, I was just about to say, Una, let me just interrupt you there. I was actually just about to say the fact that I trained with the Kamukalo Mokochos in the under 2012 South African team, right? So we had that development. Whatever happened to that team? Because none of those players that are there, apart from Kamukalo,
I will tell you what's happening right now. You have this tournament, the Bay Hill Premier Cup, that has been going on for the past 30 years. Even Shalulile played there at the age of 19. Benny McCarthy was discovered there. Back in the day, you'd have scouts coming through from different teams, scouting players from there. Yes. And then those players will go feed into the development sides of the teams. But lately, what's happening is that instead of scouts going to the Bay Hill or all these other developmental tournaments, what's happening is that agents are now going there. Now, agents are there to make money out of players. They're not there to...
Can I jump in here?
Hop in there, Mark.
All right. So I think a big fundamental that you need to realize with cricket and rugby is that they already have structures, or like in the rugby playing nations, the main rugby playing nations. So whenever they have a World Cup for the schools teams, we call it schools here because most of those players in any way come from the Craven Week, or most of the players come from the Kaimachola under 18 cricket thingy that I never made it to. Anyway, so most of the players are picked from there. So a lot of the times there's a structure, there's a competition afterwards. So a problem with football is that as soon as they come, there's no tournament prior to actually them being selected, where it's a marquee or a big tournament for the age group. There's no age group tournament where they say, okay, this is the tournament, and then this is the tournament where we pick our school's team. There's none of that. So our U17 team is probably the one school's team that I do know. I'm not sure. We don't have an under 19. I think from U17 is straight to 21. I could be mistaken. But I think with rugby and cricket already, there's tournaments for these age group competitions, and it's easier for them to actually just get players to go there because there's a system in place. I think with football, it's very different, and it's and the scouting process is very different. So it becomes very difficult, I think, for them to actually get the best U17 players or U19 players together to actually go to a tournament. So I think maybe this is where maybe SAFA needs to look at how do they get the best of the best from the schools to actually form a U17 or U19 team that actually goes to a tournament, because I know there's a U17 World Cup that actually goes on, I think, every 4 years, similar to the World Cup. So yeah, they need to relook at the structure of how they actually incentivize it.
Can I just tell you how they ruined it? Can I just tell you quickly how they ruined it, right? When I was still at under 12 level, what they used to do is they used to take the best from Gauteng players, not just the school teams. They used to take the best players from the Gauteng North, Gauteng South. You know what I'm saying in terms of that. So I used to be the part of the Gauteng North team. And from that, they used to pick maybe 3 or 4 players, and they take take 3 or 4 players from Gauteng South. They take 2 players from the Western Cape North, Western Cape South, Western Cape East, etc., etc. But now what they do is, instead of taking those sort of players, they now take one school to go represent South Africa at the 12 level. So the best school that wins a tournament represents South Africa. So now the other players, other players that are really, really good in other teams are now neglected. As you can be the greatest player ever, but if your team loses, you are now being neglected. And Arsene Wenger once said something that is very key. You know, if there's one thing I'm going to pick up from Arsenal, what Arsene Wenger said. He said that if a player cannot pick up the basics at the age of 14, forget about it. Now you have players that don't have the basics at under 17 level, but because their school is the best, you know what I mean? You have 3 or 4 players in the team that have no clue what the basics are, but because the rest of the team carries them, they let those players play. And that is where SAFA ruins it the most. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is with MDC, the winning team that wins MDC, yes, of course, MDC, it's mostly your under 20s. It's more at the later age. But the team that wins MDC goes to Europe and play against teams in Europe or South America, whatever.
Yeah. But wait, no. Wait, sorry to interrupt you, but I feel that exercise is very futile because they spend 2 weeks, a week, I don't know how long they spend, but they go there and then what happens afterwards?
Yeah.
Do they stay there and actually learn over long? Remember, football or any sort of sport, you need to be there for the long term to actually gain something. And I feel like this is more of a enjoy a holiday in Holland. Enjoy a holiday in
the initial idea was for them to go there and market themselves that side when they play against those teams, so that they'd be something the teams that side. But I think cannot help SA football in any way. It can't.
I think you're also wrong on that one. I think what happens there is that I feel like, look, if we're gonna play an international friendly against a team in Europe, our players in South Africa are not accustomed to the European conditions, number one. Number two, we become very starstruck when you play against the Haaland. We now become starstruck. We don't have BMT anymore because we've seen a player like a Haaland coming into the team and we all of a sudden shook. So I feel like the whole point of that MDC thing is just to give under 20 players experience of this is what happens when you go play against a team in Europe. If you go play against in a World Cup, for example, in England, if you go play in a World Cup in Qatar, if you go play in a World Cup in Japan, these are the sort of conditions you need to be accustomed to. And I feel like that was the aim of that. But now because we're taking only a certain team, a player like, for example, a Pesitao, who was, giving you a random example, Pesitao, who was young at the time, did not gain that experience of going and playing overseas and then coming back to SA and playing once again. We need to take the best players in the MDC, taking them overseas instead of just taking one team, which is what the under-12s are doing. They're taking the best team, taking them that side, and all the other players that are really, really good are being ignored. That is my problem.
Guys, I think we were playing Jack and Dive here with SAFA, and sort of we're trying to find reasons how or why they failed. SAFA failed clearly. They failed us clearly.
We all know why SAFA failed. SAFA failed because of one man.
Wait. Let's look at Vision. Let's look at Vision 2022. That was created around 2010. What did they say on Vision 2022? They said that 10% of South African population must play football. Therefore, we need to redouble our efforts to launch a variant schools football program and strengthen women's football structure. It's significant. But if you go back to that Vision 2022 thing, you could tell there's absolutely nothing that has happened, especially looking at what I've mentioned here of launching a variant of schools football program. I mean, go back to, is there anything that we are hearing from when it comes to schools football that SAFA is participating on?
Mahau, let me tell you how politics ruined our football, man. Let me tell you how. Remember the time when we had nursing colleges, we had teaching colleges. Those were all shut down so that we can have what? Universities teaching these things. Denny Jordan got into SAFA, implemented the same thing. saying instead of having a soccer school, let the players from schools come together. Do you get what I'm saying? So instead of having one institution that literally molds the very, very best, like the Stephen Pinars, etc., what did they do? They let everybody just run wild with it. And that is what would ruin it. If you look at it now, your schools, your nursing college, your nursing hospitals, for example, where they're looking for nurses, there's always posts. Twitter, for example, you go into Twitter, there's always a teaching post available because we don't have teaching colleges anymore. We don't have colleges that are specially colleges that specify in these things. Donny Jordan brought the politics into SAFA, and that is what ruined our football.
I think it goes
that the CAF situation is April's Fool.
Hold on. Jackie's a bit quiet there. Jackie, you good?
No, I'm back. I've been listening to you guys. It's I think TY said it properly. For me, South African football has developed a system of patronage, where the rich and powerful use their powers, amass wealth and power, and political influence. So you slowly seeing corruption becoming an institution in our football, in particular. That is why you find SAFA in particular has been struggling for the past 20 years to change that, because you have corrupt individuals who are actually leading our football. But if you look at cricket and rugby, it's a different story altogether. As much as that from cricket has a big problem, our team is the Pro Teams in particular is not winning trophies and so forth, but they have a proper system. They just merely need to just change a certain part, and if they fix that, that's where the Pro Teams will actually start getting results. And if you look at rugby in particular, rugby has got a great system. That is why you find the Springboks is constantly performing very well, because they're competing against the big guns. They're playing constantly every single week against top teams. Someone mentioned something during the week that before 96, Bafana used to play against the big guns. They used to play against your Argentina. They used to play against England in your friendlies and so forth. But now, when you go to SAFA is like, no, we're no longer going to compete against the best. We're going to compete against your Sao Tome, your Guatemala. How are you going to...
Bafana play a European team? When last?
Exactly, that's my point.
Jackie, just pause there quickly. Let me just throw a span into the works. Someone actually said this to me on my show. We'll be discussing the Molefi Ntseki incident, right? I was discussing it with my listeners on my show, and someone literally said to me that the reason why SAFA is doing so bad is because it's run by Black people versus CSA and Rugby South Africa, which is run by white people. Black administration needs to change how we view leadership. Your thoughts on that? I think let me bring Dineo in for this one. Dineo has been very quiet. Dineo, are you there?
I was about to jump in also as to what you're saying, because I've been listening to you guys going back and forth about the topic, but I absolutely agree with what you are saying, that there is a bit of a problem. But the thing is, the way that you say it makes it sound
racist. Yes.
Not that. No, definitely not that. I can't think of a word to label it as, but that is how it is. When you look at the way that both sporting codes are run and governed.
Okay, so now before we get off topic, Dineo Jordan has been announced today. It's the 1st of April. So I don't know if it's an April Fool's joke, but Dineo Jordan has been announced as part of the CAF advisory board by Patrice Motsepe to handle sports and marketing in CAF. Your thoughts on this one? Let me start with you there, Una. You seem to have very, very high comments on this one.
Dineo Jordan should just go back to active politics and be football. That's my best point, because Dineo Jordan is an administrator. He's not an admin. There's a difference between an administrator and a leader. An administrator implements what a leader comes up with. So if you have someone who will lead us towards a certain direction and allow Dineo Jordan to implement whatever that person is coming with, then you'll have a successful organization.
Yeah.
If you think back into the LOC of the World Cup, I'm not sure if Danny was the president or not.
He was the face.
He was the face, but there were brains behind the whole situation. And Danny Jordan was just there to implement what the brains were coming up with.
Yes.
So I think with Danny Jordan, we don't need him up in the helm. We don't need him up the food chain. We need him maybe in the third level or the second level. But his time in football, I think, needs to come to an end.
But now,
and I really hope that with CAF, it's an April Fool's joke, because I don't think there's anything more that gets used to football.
But now, I think
he's done. He's like Bernard Parker. He's done.
Yo, Jesus.
Let's
not go to Bernard Parker. Hold on. Let's not go to Bernard Parker. Let's go. Before we go there, I think we all agree that, look, Danny Jordan is done. We need to get rid of him at Safa. But now we get rid of Danny Jordan. Who takes over? Mark?
Definitely not Lucas Radebe.
Jesus. Goodness. Okay. Who?
Wait, hear me out.
Not who, not.
I hear. Okay. But I hear what Una's saying about an administrator and a leader and so forth. But at the end of the day, you need to also understand what the end goal is. And that's what an administrator at the end of the day does, is that they work towards what is set out to be done. So, I mean, Lucas hasn't really been part of any sort of association. Lucas has been like kind of a poster boy. So I think we need someone who firstly has, who understands how football works, who understands what needs to be done in order for a national team to be successful. Secondly, we also need someone who, again, a leader. A leader is very important. But we struggle with that in this country because, all our leaders are kind of trash. But anyway.
But you're giving me the criteria, not a name. I need a name.
I can give you a name.
Ona, give me a name.
John
Molefi Ntseki.
Who?
Committers.
Huh?
Hey.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying he should. John Committers is one of those people I think must come in for one term and out, and someone continues with the project. He's very good with starting out projects. So I think if we come in and, because right now I think we need to go into a restructuring phase. So if he can come into the restructuring phase and start this project and then get someone to continue from what he started from, I think we can go far.
I'm just going to say this. If I ever start a football team, Una's my general manager. Mahau, continue.
I hate to say this one, but I agree.
Are you putting my name into the pocket for president of SAFA?
I'm putting your name in the pocket for president of my football team. And you know I'm in the process. I'm in the process. When I'm done, I'm calling you. Mahau, your thoughts?
I'm saying that I hate to say this, but I agree with Una on the chairman of Cape Town. I think he has that kind of, I think even leadership as well is there. And I think his creativity when it comes to the entire football, he has that knowledge that he can lead South African Football Association, but as well as what Una has mentioned, to say that, okay, he's not here to sit for 5 years and like, okay, we're going to vote him again for 5 years up until maybe he passed away and then we'll find someone else. But this whole thing has to be sort of a change thing where he'll come for one or 5 years and then he's out. Someone else has to come in and continue with that program that he has brought upon when it comes to SAFA. So I think John is quite fitting to lead South African Football Association.
I hear you. Jackie, you're Mark?
Okay.
Continue.
No, I was just saying I have a name, Neil Tovey. But anyway, carry on.
Whoa, slow down.
He has had problems, but I understand.
That's the problem. We're not trying to kill nobody. We're not trying to kill people here.
Yeah, guys, I think to a certain extent I would agree with Una and Mohau, but hey, guys, now to have a person just to be there for a year, just to try and stabilize the current situation, then who's gonna take over after that? That's the question you should ask. I think the biggest problem in this country is that we don't look at long-term wise.
Yes.
You see, why don't we get someone that is very young? I think as someone like Lucas Khade, for me, in my opinion, as much that he doesn't really have enough experience in terms of the administration side of thing of football, but he understands South African football. Let's give him an opportunity. I think maybe if you have him, and did you have a vice president, right? Yeah, and have committees as vice president.
But Jackie, hold
Why
on.
Why don't you do it the other way around? Have committees, like I mentioned, have committees run in the interim while Lucas is under him, learning the tools and trades of how to administrate an organization.
Yeah, but
that
now ask yourself this
continuation.
Let's okay. If you look at the NEC, yes, Safa guys, it has a lot of old people. You see, it's very okay. A certain chairman.
We're not implying anything to the viewers. We're not implying anything.
Nothing at all.
Chairman.
These thoughts are just of Jackie. If you want to get at anybody, please call Jackie personally. I see
Okay, sure.
Continue, Jackie.
Okay, now, do you see committees working with that chairman?
No.
Never.
My point exactly. Bear in mind that at least I want to Lucas, that chairman, they see eye to eye. But Jackie, if we're saying now,
What
so
I'm
now,
saying
are you trying to say that chairman is the biggest problem there?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. The entire NEC is a big problem at SAFA. I think if you look at the NEC, we could see at the press conference already. SAFA's biggest problem is accountability.
Who was in that press conference even?
No, the only member of the NEC that was there was the technical director, Maluleke. He's the only one who came at the press conference.
Why did the rest of the NEC not come through? Because they don't have any accountability. Jackie is absolutely right.
Like,
they don't want
the situation that we find ourselves in needs accountability, and if the president is not there to account to the nation, then he doesn't deserve to sit there. Where is the chairman to come account to the nation? Where is the vice president?
That's what Jackie is saying.
The only way a personal committee will actually be successful at SAFA is if we totally remove the NEC, the current NEC, an NEC that has been there for the past 10 years since the World Cup. If you remove it completely,
probably more than that.
Probably more than that. But if we remove it completely and we have a different NEC, an NEC that has individuals who actually want to progress South African football, then that's when we can actually have a leader like committees. Yeah.
Yes.
But now the issue is this: people don't think. The biggest problem is that even most journalists during the press conference even said it, that the issue now is that we lack accountability.
Yes.
And even who's this guy? Is it the CEO of SAFA?
Yeah.
He came forward and said that there is no problem there's no problem with Bafana. The only disappointment that we have is that we didn't qualify.
When last did we qualify for World Cup?
Anything. Forget World Cup.
You see, that's why I'm saying that it's very tricky, man. In my opinion, it's very tricky. But if I had, because you put me on the spot, I would actually go with Lucas, in my opinion.
Okay. No, absolutely hear you. All right. Let's move on real quick. Now, Wydad Casablanca is officially in Johannesburg to face Kaizer Chiefs. And the shocking thing is the fact that Wydad Casablanca is officially brought in their second team. Their first team is at home. And they've even brought in their assistant coach. Their head coach is not even in the country to face Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah,
hold on.
Now,
let's bring in Dineo. Let's bring in Dineo.
Okay,
Dino's been very quiet. Let's bring Dineo in. Give us a thoughts.
I've been listening to you guys going back and forth.
So what are your thoughts on Wydad bringing their second team and an assistant coach to lead that second team? Head coach is not here. first team, literally every single player in the original starting 11 is not even here in the country. What are your thoughts, Dineo?
My thought would be that they probably know the type of team the Kaizer Chiefs are, or maybe to put it in a simpler term, they know what they're going to expect going up against them.
Yes.
They don't. No, because I mean, I think honestly, this is something that even someone who's been an athlete, who's playing like netball A, B team, rugby A, B team, you understand the strategy behind these type of things. So I think that's what they were trying to do. They just kind of know what to expect from Chiefs. So they brought in a team that they think, which is the second team, which they think, I don't know if I should say is on Chiefs' level, but which they think, I don't know if I should, for lack of a better description, that's how I'm going to put it.
It's actually
okay, well, hold on. Let me just ask one question. For the sake of the podcast, which team do you support?
Mamelodi Sundowns.
Oh!
What do you mean, awa? You just asked me a question and I gave you an answer. So how are you questioning my answer?
Oh, it's because sabotage this thing, guys.
No, it's not sabotage. There's balanced equation. It's 3 Sundowns fans, 3 Kaizer Chiefs fans. No, equal. It's equal now.
Keep brown envelope.
What's your response?
But let's be honest,
what's happening out there, or what's your
but honestly, my comment has nothing to do with the fact that I am a Sundown supporter. I'm just stating it the way that I see it.
Facts. Let's ask the Kaizer Chiefs fans. Let's ask the Kaizer Chiefs apologist, Mark. Let's start with you. Apologize for your team. A whole wide Casablanca brought in the B team. Your thoughts?
Yeah. First of all,
yeah,
in football, or actually in sporting terms, it's very rude to call another team a B team. It just means that maybe it's about COVID, did you? Yeah, no, there's no way around this one.
You're gonna use COVID as an excuse?
Yeah, no.
I can explain.
1 year later.
No. 365 years later, guys. As an excuse. 1 year later, it's alive, guys. But my thing is, I think. Look, okay. Honestly speaking, I think if I'm 4-0 up against, because with the Champions League, there's a lot of the head to head happening in any way. So if I'm 4-0 up, I would also probably bring my B team. Because chances are, it's my B team with a couple of like first team players, and I'll get a draw. And if you get a draw, you know that no matter what happens, if you guys go head to head, you're gonna beat them. So it's not an issue.
I don't think you understand.
I think
there are no first team players.
Can I come in?
No first team players are in the country. 0 first team players. Una, please come in.
Guys.
Hold on. Context.
These are the facts.
Not a single player that plays in the first team for Wydad is in the country.
But that's subjective.
Guys,
Una, you may continue.
Look.
Can I continue more before you come in? Wydad Casablanca is number 1 in their local league. And the second team is their arch rivals, Raja Casablanca.
Yes.
So if you are number 1 in your league, in your local league, and in the Champions League, you are as good as qualified for the next round, what would you do as a coach? Obviously, you would take the French players to go play in the Champions League because you're as good as players.
Have they qualified?
The other situation is that when they go back, the team that came to South Africa, when they go back to their country, they have to quarantine for at least 6 to 10 days. And you have to prepare for your next league game.
Yeah, so they focus more on the league.
Quarantine? So obviously, leave the good players that side. I think they brought about 2 players who are in the first team, which are the 2 or 3 players, which are the spine of the team, which can actually take the team further, even in the Champions League. So the fact
I think
here
Chiefs fans are consoling themselves.
This is a weak team.
Chiefs fans are
because
consoling
they're
themselves. You're right.
actually also focusing on their league, that side.
No. But okay, yeah. Okay.
Guys, look,
all I'm saying is, if Wydad was playing against Sundowns right now, regardless of what they beat Sundowns the first team in the first leg, they'd bring more players from the first team. That's all I'm saying. Hold on. Jackie.
No matter, guys.
Jackie, you may go.
Guys, let's be honest. Wydad actually, they basically have qualified for the knockout stages. That's a fact. I get that. But Mara, guys, at the same time, let's be honest with ourselves. But they're against Chiefs.
That's the part.
No, guys,
they're playing against Kaizer Chiefs.
Guys, no.
They're playing against Kaizer Chiefs. No, they're playing against Kaizer Chiefs. And they have been, even the previous Champions League seasons, where Wydad actually qualified, where they actually qualified and they had to play against Mamelodi Sundowns. They played against Sundowns with a strong team. They came
the first time this is happening. We shook.
Yeah, they came to Mzansi with a strong team. Now you're telling me because of COVID, because they're number one. No.
Excuses.
It's nothing or no one. The team that we have now is good enough to actually beat this team called Kaizer Chiefs. If I was their team, in fact, I was probably gonna bring the academy one of the players, but because I had against Kaizer Chiefs.
My goodness.
I know.
But
all I'm saying is this, guys. I live on the tears of Kaizer Chiefs fans. After what Kaizer Chiefs has done to Sundowns in all the cup finals, the brown envelopes, the fake offsides, Chiefs deserves everything that's coming to them. Everything.
Okay, but can I ask this Chiefs question before we continue? Okay, so judging from this B team, Kaizer Chiefs, Wydad. Do you think Wydad? Yeah.
Una?
Yes, sir.
Do you guys actually think?
Yeah.
Judging from the team that they bring into South Africa, do you think Kaizer Chiefs can actually beat Wydad?
I would say yes. Kaizer Chiefs is still on a high after the derby win. I think also they got a much needed rest in the international week, and with the addition of some of the players that were injured coming back, I think that can also help them to squeeze in a win. I actually believe a win can come out of this.
Is Kaizer Chiefs going to qualify? Is Kaizer Chiefs going to qualify for the next round? Are they going to get to the qualifiers? Yes or no? I just need a yes or a no.
If they beat Oroya, yes.
Okay. Responding to Unane, I don't think you guys can beat Wydad. I think you guys are gonna be humbled again. Probably another 4-0, if not maybe 3-4-0 again with a big team like Wydad. Despite the fact that you guys won against Orlando Pirates, I still don't think you're good enough to actually beat a team like Wydad.
Okay, speaking about Kaizer Chiefs, is Kaizer Chiefs even going to make the top 8? Their next fixtures are against, they play Wydad next, Stellenbosch, Horoya, Baroka, Cape Town City. Immediately after Cape Town City, Kaizer Chiefs go on to play Bloemfontein Celtic, then Morocco Swallows, Black Leopards, Golden Arrows, and eventually TS Galaxy on the 29th of May. Is Kaizer Chiefs going to make it to the top 8? I need a yes or a no.
No.
Okay.
Dineo, what do you think?
No.
Oh, now what do you think?
I think we'll make the top 8.
But how?
You don't sound convinced.
No, I am convinced. I think we'll make the top 8. If you looked at the type of teams we're playing against next, they around Kaizer Chiefs and on the luck. So most of them are not consistent enough to actually
Una, you're talking about a team that's won 5 games out of 19.
How many games do you want this year? Let's just start there.
I'm pretty aware.
How many games do you want this year?
I'm pretty aware. Oh my goodness.
How many games do you want this year?
Kaizer Chiefs and depressed.
Well, how please come in. Save your team. Kaizer Chiefs making the top 8, yes or no?
They will make it to the top 8.
Mark, your thoughts? Kaizer Chiefs top 8, yes or no?
I'm gonna say
They're
yes.
making the top 8.
Okay. That's fine. Let's leave Kaizer Chiefs alone, guys. I think we've had enough of Kaizer Chiefs here. I'm here for their tears, but yeah, no, that's enough tears for one night. Molefi Ntseki has officially been fired. Rumor has it, Benny McCarthy is up next, but the CEO at Amazulu is like, no. I'm not willing to release Benny McCarthy to the national team. Let me start with Mark, the Kaizer Chiefs apologist.
I heard rumors. Yeah? I heard rumors Molefi Ntseki said, no, I will not resign. Are you mad? So, guys, like this man has got some, it's crazy. But anyway, I feel like after the win, he should have pulled the machine and like resigned on air. But anyway, we'll leave that. I think, man.
In Popeye Spinach can do better than Molefi Ntseki. In Popeye Spinach from Zone 14.
The Tiger Boys coaching must come in now. It's time.
That's who we need. Even the coach from Super Strikers.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell me, has Super Strikers ever lost a game? Has Super Strikers ever lost a game?
I've never lived to see them lose.
Yes, they have lost a couple of games. But
okay, but they have actually. You're actually quite right.
But guys,
and how many party twisted are there in Super Strikers? Because a game can start while the whole team is kidnapped, and then all of a sudden, the whole team is inside.
Guys. But
they're like why did Casablanca? The whole team is kidnapped, but the B team can still win.
No way.
Guys, but we spoke about this a couple of weeks back. I even said from the beginning, by the fact that we actually allowed appointed Dimani as head coach of Bafana Bafana. Guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Continue.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm saying the fact that they appointed Molefi Ntseki, and from the get-go, it was a cheap choice. That's the first thing. And Dimani doesn't even have enough experience to actually coach Bafana Bafana. The only thing that he has coached was the under 17, if I'm not mistaken. That's the only thing that he's coached.
And under 20.
So, yeah, under 20. So, what was he going to give for Bafana Bafana? Nothing at all.
Can I interject there, man? The coach of Sudan that beat Kaizer Chiefs has coached since 1989. He's coached Paris FC from 92 to 99. He's coached the likes of Togo. He's coached ES Setif. He's coached USM Alger. He's coached TP Mazembe, Etuli Sahel. He's coached JS Kabile. He's coached DHJ from 1989 till 2020. Literally, this guy has been coaching for the longest time. Was Molefi Ntseki really going to beat him? I think not. So, do we need a coach with experience, or do we need a coach that knows what they are doing? Or do we just need a cheap choice? Jackie, you may continue.
We don't need Molefi Ntseki.
Yeah, we don't need Molefi Ntseki. We don't need Molefi Ntseki. And for me, and I've been saying from the first episode, well, guys, if Molefi Ntseki fails to qualify for the AFCON, he's walking.
Yes.
That was guaranteed. I've been saying that. But now, we must also remember that Bafana, situation of Bafana they're in right now, they can even bring in Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola. Bafana won't change. The problem is not the coach. The problem is not the players. The problem is SAF. That's one thing we know what fine. The problem is with SAF. You can see what the chopping and changing of coaches is not because of this thing. Can you guys hear me? Because nobody's responding. Hello?
We're listening. We hear you.
The problem with Safa and the problem with Bafana Bafana is not the coach. And even if they bring in Benny McCarthy, the problem will not change because we have leaders in Safa who would like to meddle inside the technical team just Safa. We're talking about a Safa team, a Bafana team that doesn't even have a proper technical director.
Yes.
When was the last time you heard about the current technical director of SAF? If I ask you guys right now, who's the current technical director of Bafana Bafana? Nobody will probably mention the name.
Ivan Koza.
No, he left long time ago.
Ivan Koza.
He left long time ago.
There's actually a technical team that was announced a year ago. I think, what's this former assistant coach of Kaizer Chiefs? Farouk Khan. I think Farouk Khan is part of that team, but I don't think they've ever done anything since they've been announced. I think it was more
exactly. And you know what's also weird, gents? You know what's also weird, ne? Every single time when a coach is fired at Bafana, ne, they leave a report, ne, on
I just shown he can write a report.
Jackie, before you start, the Safa technical director is Franz Mahashoa. I don't know what he's done. That's his name.
Exactly.
Coach is the TTM.
No, but let's not sugarcoat it. Molefi Ntseki really failed. Like, I mean, he played 9 games. He coached 9 games for Bafana and used 46 players. 46 players in a national team. That means he has no plan, there's no core, there's nothing. So let's not sugarcoat it. Yes, Safa is not doing what they're supposed to do, but Molefi Ntseki, he must go back to teaching. I hope Department of Basic Education.
Una, I'm gonna throw this one at you. Which Bafana coach has actually succeeded in the past 10 years?
Kipito.
What? You got fired.
Who's that guy? The guy that took us to the World Cup? Pereira.
Pereira. Yeah, but you call it. Yeah, but you hosted the World Cup. So why?
We didn't qualify.
Oh my goodness, Mark.
That's the most successful we've been. The World Cup.
I'm gonna remind you guys about something, and you guys will remember these words. A couple of weeks ago, I said that a certain coach in Egypt is coming back to South Africa.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's going to me. He's going to Europe.
Now listen to me. Listen to me. A certain coach from a certain coach who's coaching the biggest team in the continent right now is going to come back to South Africa to coach Bafana Bafana.
He's going to Europe first. Start there.
No, it doesn't matter what if he's going to Europe. He's going to coach Bafana Bafana to Bafana Bafana.
Yeah, but you say wait.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you say I hear people saying he's going to Europe. To which European team?
It doesn't matter. You can go coach.
Enough. I just
go coach Burnley. You can go coach Rovers. It doesn't matter. Burnley, Dundee United doesn't matter.
Listen, I just did a quick search here. And interestingly enough, Shakes Mashaba points per match. He played 38 matches for Bafana. He coached 38 matches for Bafana, won 17, drew 13, and only lost 8.
Yes,
he's actually the best coach in the past 5 years. In the past 6 years.
Yeah.
But where is he now?
But would you bring in Ephraim Mashaba, Mara? Let's be
honest. This is scratching his head.
The problem with Sheikh is that
Ephraim Mashaba must go and sit with his grandchildren, and it's okay.
The problem with Sheikh is that they don't like him because he tells the truth. You see,
yes,
that's why he was fired.
Yes,
he tells the truth.
How can you bring in an Ephraim Mashaba who doesn't even use video analysis to coach a modern team?
Your coach doesn't use video analysis. So what are you trying to say?
Rifitilo Kaizer Chiefs. Ephraim Mashaba does not use video analysis. Let's focus on that.
but going back to my point, before we continue, guys, going back to my point, you know what could happen? Nah? If Safa changes everything, because one thing about Peter wants a team, he wants to coach a team that is very much disciplined. He doesn't want people who are meddling in the everything. He wants to be the manager, if I put it like that. He wants to manage the team. He wants to be in charge. And that's why he loved working at Mamelodi Sundowns. That's how he changed everything, the whole situation in Mamelodi Sundowns. They allowed him to manage the Sundowns. So if Safa changes that and they allow Pito to actually come to South Africa, coach Bafana, and allow him to manage, to bring in a system that can actually work, then Bafana will actually be successful. Because in my opinion, I don't think a Benny McCarthy would do well at Bafana. No way. No. We might as well just go and take Joseph Zimbabwe then at the trade.
Hey, not that plumber. Ooh. Aye,
wait, let me ask. Dineo, who do you want as the next Bafana coach?
Pito.
You know what I want to happen before I can answer?
Please answer, Dineo.
Oh, sorry, I thought you guys couldn't hear me. I was gonna say what I would like to be implemented before I can answer you. What I would like, I think, to be implemented would be, there should be like a limit as to how many tournaments or how many times you are not allowed to qualify for a tournament before they disband you, or I don't know which terminology would be the accurate one.
No, but
that's what I feel. Once, ne?
Once was enough.
When you drew against Ghana was enough.
That was enough. I mean, how do you take out Pesita and put in special Santi? Like, please make it make sense.
Guys, does anyone here have a Z83 form to email to Molefi Ntseki to go back to teaching? Because football is not.
I have one somewhere.
He must go and replace Devin Hunt. I think he'll be.
Yes, I agree.
We can't keep bringing in the same problems into our wonderful football entertainment industry. No, let's not do that.
I also don't think I trust him with school kids. Maybe he must retire from all waking life.
But to be honest, I don't think that would be a good move. Knowing how brutal kids of today are, I don't think they would take him seriously, or they'd have respect for him if they knew who he was and what he has not done for.
Do you think the men were set up?
The school kids would probably tell him. The school kids would tell him that he made headlines, and then they'd look at his head because they have headlines. Anyway.
Teacher, usulwe upesita out. What are you gonna do? All right, we need to, gents and lady, we need to wrap this one up real quick. Zungu has been slapped with a 6-match ban following his antics last year by breaching COVID-19 protocols and attending a party with other players. Please hit me up real quick. We need to wrap this up really quickly. Let me start with you, Una. What are your thoughts on this?
Zungu was the eldest in that group of players, and he's an international player. I expect better from him. From my side, I think he deserves the ban. He needs to learn from his antics.
Yes.
And hopefully he changes, because this might count against him in his career. Thank you.
Mahal, your thoughts?
Suits him well. I'm not sure if he'll learn from his mistakes.
He's made too many.
I'm not sure if he'll learn. But let's hope for the best. But it suits him well.
Yeah. Mark, your thoughts?
But guys, let's. How do you expect someone who went into the shower with his camera on and pulled who's this Melusi Kaba in the shower? How do you expect someone like that? No, guys. Like, we knew this was coming. We knew that Yazin is gonna be there. Gonna be like, yo, yellow bones, white girls, But anyway. No, I think it's probably good. I think at some point he probably needs to learn a lesson. But at the end of the day, it's very sad at the same time, because I feel like this is the lasting impression of South African footballers that's going to stay out there. Because, I mean, you have Percy on the bench. Nobody's talking about him right now. So the only person who's really playing in like top leagues is who's this Ubongan.
But because
so I feel like
hold on. They've already won the league, so they're playing him just to build the team for next season. So he's not really guaranteed.
Yeah. But is he gonna be in the team next season? Because remember, his loan expires at the end of the season, and they said they don't want him. So chances are he's going back to France, and from there he's gonna have to see out the last 12 months of his contract. So I think his side, Amiens, is probably gonna also either try and sell him, because I mean he is quite the lucrative player for them. So I think they might sell him to another club, maybe Espanyol or one of the clubs, or the other clubs in Europe might actually come for him, because at the end of the day, he's a very good footballer. I think we cannot deny that. He will definitely make a difference in your team. So I think he'll go somewhere.
Okay, Jackie, your thoughts real quick?
Whoever took Jabu to his side when he came back to Europe and told him to change his behavior, I think needs to go talk to Zungu, because he's a talented player.
Shake him up.
Need a Bizela situation.
Yes. Jackie, your thoughts quickly on the Bongani Zungu situation?
Yeah, for me, it could have been worse, honestly speaking. It could have been worse. He should be grateful that they only gave him a 6-match ban, because they could have just released him, terminated his loan agreement, and allowed him to go back to his principal club. But they gave him a chance. But one thing I've learned from Bongani Zungu, it seems as if he doesn't learn. He does the same things all over and over. A couple of months ago, he lashed out at the then head coach of Bafana Molefi Ntseki.
Yes.
So he's got a problem, this kid. He's got a big, big problem. But I hope that he learns from this, and he really takes his chances, because knowing the fact that he didn't play a lot of games for Rangers, was 90% of the time on the bench. I hope and pray that he learns from this, because he's a very talented player, and when he goes back to his principal club, he starts performing, because we need players that are playing every single game for Bafana, because if you don't have players that are playing 24/7, then we'll never achieve anything as a country.
Thank you, Mahao Mushapo. And then, Dineo, your thoughts on this one? This is the same player that had a whole townhouse just to get laid with Kamabilia there next to him. Same player that was in a scandal 2-3 weeks ago, because he invited his ex over and his girlfriend found out about it all over the tabloids. Please give us your thoughts on this one, as well as the sports wrap for this week.
I wanted to mention first as I'm giving my 2 cents to this topic, I just wanted to mention that this is definitely not the first time that it's not the first time in this season that Rangers players have basically infringed the protocols. So to me, I'm thinking that there might be a discipline problem as well in the team, perhaps. And that, when you find like a player, the way we've been looking back on the things that Zungu has been involved with, when he finds himself in a situation where he's around players that are like him character-wise, then it becomes even harder then for him to also restrict himself and to not do those things. Because if you're surrounded around people who do the same things and don't see wrong in the things that you're doing the same way that you are, then there's no one that's going to be there to reprimand you as well. And it should be exactly those people, the teammates that are reprimanding him for these things. But also, as we've been saying, the type of player that Zungu is, and also knowing how much he struggled to get a team at this point, I don't understand why he would do something like this. And it is rather unfortunate that he's going to be missing out on the next few games.
Yeah, no, very, very
season is done for him.
Yeah, it's basically, I don't know, he's ruined. I think he's ruined his last chance, the last chance that he had to prove himself again. he's kind of ruined it for himself.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. All right, quickly give us the sports wrap, and then we're wrapping up this one.
All right, and as we've been sitting down critically analyzing South African sports, and from cricket to rugby to football to motorsports at that, it's been an interesting conversation that we've been having. I've really enjoyed myself here with you guys. And also what I like so much about the platform is that it's not just about engaging about these things, but also learning. I know you guys mentioned that as well in one of your podcasts. So it's, as I've been listening to you guys, it's been really amazing getting to learn and hear other things from you. As much as I have been I'm quiet a bit, I've been listening and I've been absorbing and I've been learning. And I think that the platform that you guys have created is amazing, and the content that you guys are putting out there as well, absolutely amazing, keeping us on our feet, keeping us engaged, and giving us something to live for in times that we are living in right now, which is sports. Sports is always going to be just one of those things that makes us happy. It brings entertainment, it brings joy, and it brings happiness to our lives. So I hope that to everyone that gets a chance to listen to this podcast, that they have enjoyed the conversation that we've had, and that we'll continue to grow more and engage more in sports related content.
Thank you very much, Dineo. All right, I need anybody to give me the closing word for today. Anybody? Whoa,
Okay,
slow
wow.
down. One person. Can we nominate one person, please?
Kabuyelo. That's the fun one.
Yes, boy.
It can't be that.
Okay, Mark, go for it.
I know. Yeah, man. Just to close off, shocking loss. Germany suffered, but I think Euro 2021, well, it's 2020, but 2021, if you know what I mean. It's going to be very interesting. France has a very strong team. Portugal has a strong team. It's going to be very interesting. Spain is faltering. Germany is faltering. It's going to be an amazing tournament. So I think at some point we should really talk about the chances of the different nations at Euro 2020 /2021. So it's going to be interesting. It's been good. Enjoy the podcast. Please follow, like, subscribe, share. Yenza yonke into.
Tell a friend.
All day.
And don't forget to send us some questions or any thoughts on our tomorrow.
At Gmails. So
Mark. By the way, Mark, Pesita was not the only player who's playing on the big league. Just because your coach doesn't want to select other players, it doesn't mean that you keep Pesita off. You have the likes of.
It's not a coach.
Oh, your former coach.
Your plumber.
Yeah, probably another thing. Why is again? But anyway, let's call out.
Guys, whoa. Slow down. We're out of time. Thank you very much for joining us on the Banter Club. This has been a beautiful episode. Join us same time, same place next week. The gents are going to be back right here. Hopefully, joins us next week as well. We hope he joins us again next week. Beautiful one. Mark, Dineo, Jackie, Onarine. That's your name. And Mahau, thank you very much for joining us. See you guys next week, same time, same place. This has been the Banter Club SA.
Tell your grandmother.
Join us every week on the Banter Club.